My father died last September. He was 89, but he wasn't really sick, so no one was really prepared. We all expected my mom would go first. She was already on hospice care. She had beginning dementia and late-stage chronic heart failure. But her heart was failing remarkably slowly. You get put on hospice care when you only have 6 months to live. And my mom had been on hospice for 2 years. She was 75 pounds. She could barely eat, see, walk, or hear. But her little hummingbird heart just kept beating. So we didn't really have a plan for her, except that I had always told her, "Don't worry, Mom, if anything happens to Dad, you can move in with me." So I moved my mom in. And the days pretty quickly developed a pattern. My husband Rick was up at 7. He made her breakfast and got the first poop report. Whether or not she had pooped, how much or how little she had pooped, whether it was hard or soft. And then I got up at 8 o'clock, and when I walked in the kitchen, my mother said every morning, "Good morning, sweet angel." And then I got the poop report. And then her daytime helper, Tasha, would show up at 9 o'clock, and she would get the poop report, and she would write it down so it could be referred to frequently throughout the day. It was amazing how much care my mother needed. I mean, she was tiny, and she didn't really do anything, but then again, she couldn't really do anything for herself. So it was, wake up, glasses on, teeth in, hearing aids in, comb your hair, empty pee bag, wash body, change clothes, walk her to breakfast. Get her pills, get her to eat, can't swallow, starts to cough, try to breathe, calm down, try again. Go to the bathroom, try to poop, empty pee bag, wash hands, walk her to her chair. Little nap, wake up, first ensure. Little nap, wake up, second ensure. Everything hurts, glasses off, teeth out, hearing aids out. Little nap, wake up, time for lunch. Glasses on, teeth in, hearing aids in, walk to lunch, try pills, try to eat, can't swallow, start to cough, calm down, try again. Go to the bathroom, try to pee, try to poop, empty pee bag, wash your hands, walk to chair. All day. But that's not really the hard part. The hard part is when my mother moved in, so did my childhood, which wasn't very nice. See, when I set up a bedroom for my mom, I filled her walls with all her favorite family photos, and then there we were, all of us together again. The Podestas, Hal and Marie, Bobby, Patty, Vicky. My mom loved her room, but it was hard for me. Because, see there, those pictures of my dad when we were young? That's the man who yelled at me, told me I was stupid, hit me. Before my mom moved in, I had no pictures from my childhood in my home. And now, I look at those pictures every day. I finally asked my mom something I've never asked her before. Mom, when we were young, did you ever talk to Dad about how he screamed at us? I mean, you know, on some of those nights, did you ever say, "Hal, you can't hit the kids"? Your father was very young when he went into the war. I know. He was in horrible battles, horrible. Once he had to go into a church and take out dead children after they had bombed it. I know. He was very proud of you and your sister. He told everyone how successful you were. I know. He fixed everything in your house every time we came to visit. I know, Mom. But when we were young, everybody loved your father. I miss him every day. So, I know. So fall passes and we have a wonderful Christmas. But now it's February and my mom gets very worried whenever I leave the house. I mean, she says, "Go, live your life. You need to have fun with Rick." But when I do go out, she gets scared and she cries and she says to Tasha, "I don't know why they moved me here if they don't want to spend any time with me." We actually do have a lot of really nice evenings. At dinner, she tells stories about what it was like growing old with my dad. the night he fell out of bed and he woke her up to help him, and she tripped over him in the dark, and then they both just lay there laughing until the sun came up. And then the other night, when he was sure if he went to bed that night he was going to die, so he slept in his chair, and she sat beside him in another chair and waited till the sun came up, and then she woke him up and she said, "Come on, Hal, you didn't die, let's go to bed." After dinner, we have movies and dessert night every night. And when she watches a movie, she's like a kid. She's fully absorbed and genuinely surprised by plot twists. Oh, she married the colonel. I did not see that coming. But now it's March, and we've seen 180 movies, and we've eaten 180 desserts. And now it's April, and I begin to feel, if I just, had a timeline, if I just maybe knew how long, I could adjust, and then maybe I wouldn't feel so trapped. So I started asking people, well, what do you think? Tasha says, I think it's 2 months. Her nurse says, could still be 6 months. The social worker takes my hand and says, your mom's a fighter. She could live 2 more years. And I know that she's trying to be supportive, but I actually burst out crying. Now it's May. My mom is so weak, she can't walk at all anymore. She falls off the toilet and hits her head, and now she thinks she can't remember things because there's a bone loose in her head. She has a bad day, throwing up all day. The nurse wants me to be able to remove my mother's catheter in case she starts to spike a fever. And so she says, well, now you release this valve, and then you're going to put this syringe in here, and you're going to draw the water out, and then you're just going to very gently take her catheter out. Do you think you can do that? And I say, well, sure, because my mother is lying there naked and splayed on the bed, and she's listening, but I think, no, I'm calling you. And now it's June, and my mom's retaining water. The nurse says she wants to show me how to give my mother morphine, because when it gets to the very end, my mother could be in a lot of pain, and this will have her lungs calm down and kind of help her heart. And she says it's just, you put the syringe in here and you're going to draw out 3 cc's, but you're only going to give her 1 cc just here under the tongue, and you're going to give it to her about once an hour. Do you think you can do that? And I say, sure, because my mother is listening. But I think, no, I'm not dosing my mother with morphine. No, I'm calling you. And now there's this vicious pressure sore on her tailbone, and the nurse says it's time to either bring in a hospital bed or put her in a hospice house. So the next time my mother says to me, I think you should just put me in a home, I say, I do too, Mommy. But I found a really great home for you. It's called the Zen Hospice House. It's the best place in the city. You're going to have your own room. There'll be medical care right outside your door, and the cook there, she'll make you anything you want to eat. And, they're like Zen, so and then I don't say, they think that death is just another part of life, because I don't want to tell my mother that she's going there to die. My mom actually looks relieved, and she says, okay, I'm ready. Let's go. When I get my mom to the hospice house, it's stifling. And, it's San Francisco, so it's never hot, except that we're in the middle of a heat wave, and there's no air conditioning, and my mom is really hot. And she's hungry. So I run downstairs and I tell the cook that my mom wants some Campbell's chicken soup with some Parmesan cheese and half an egg mixed in. It was on the intake form. Remember, I told you it's her favorite. And the cook says, we don't have those kinds of products here, but I just made some lovely organic broth, and I'll use that. And I think, oh, shit. Cooking orders start to waft up the stairs, and my mom says, what is that? It's horrible. The soup arrives, and she takes 1 sip and she spits it out. It tastes like pee. a dog walks in the room. "Get that filthy animal out of here." And when I kiss my mother goodnight, she says, "It's hot, it stinks, I can't eat the food, and there's a dog." And then she whispers, "Can I come home?" And I say, "It'll get better, Mom." And she says, "I know." On the second day, it doesn't get any better. The heat doesn't break, the food can't be right, and the dog won't stay out of her room. But the people, my mom says, they're wonderful. "Did you know they have volunteers here? People who actually give up their time to talk to old people? Why would they do that? Would you do that? I wouldn't do that." "Well, Mom, we're just not that nice." And she laughs. I come back the third day. I say good morning to my mom, but she doesn't say, "Good morning, sweet angel." She just looks at me. Her nurse takes me out of the room and tells me that my mom's been throwing up again all night, and now she's coughing and she can't swallow, so it's time to move her to a pureed diet. I say, "Okay." When I go back in the room, my mom is sleeping. So I just kind of settle in to wait for her, and I realize she's breathing kind of funny. It sounds automatic. And I go back to her nurse. "Could you check on my mom? I think she's dying." People come in and out all day and they say, "How's your mom doing?" And I say, "Oh, she's dying." I think back to this little speech that my mom gave on her birthday. She said she hadn't even wanted to get out of bed that morning, but she heard my dad's voice say, "Marie, get up." So she did. And when she got to the kitchen, there were flowers and presents and cake waiting for her. And now she raised her glass and she said that when my father died, she thought she would never be happy again. Then she came here and we made a home for her. And there was family and movies and dessert, and she was happy. And then she cried a little. And then, about 10 minutes later, she raised her glass again. She said the whole thing again. So I sit beside her and I hold her hand, and it's afternoon, and then it's evening, and then it's night. So there's this lizard that's native to California. It's called the western fence lizard. They have a protein in their blood that kills the bacteria that causes Lyme disease. So when ticks carrying Lyme disease feed on these lizards' blood, the tick's blood becomes cleansed and no longer transmits the disease. And I think of these lizards while I hold my mom's hand. I hold it all through the night, and I feel like we're being cleansed of all the difficulty and the disappointment and the poop and the anger and the pain. I doze, and I see my mom again as I used to see her at Christmas in her red outfit. Everyone else is in the living room, but my mom is standing in the kitchen while I cook. She's waiting there in case I need help, and if not, just keeping me company so I won't be alone. And then I feel something is different, and I wake up. I put my hand on her chest, and it's still. So, if your mother is tiny and helpless and crazy and dying and all alone, and you always promised her that she could live with you, well, I'm not going to lie to you. If you do it, then you might be the last one she's angry with, the last one who disappoints her, the last one who tries and fails to make her happy. And you're going to have to live with that. But if you do it, you might also be the last one she laughs with, the last one she toasts, the last one she sees waiting there, so she will not be alone.